Alright, what the heck is that? Let's check it out. Okay, while doing some Betaflight 3.4 testing, I jacked up my sampling, my black box sampling rate to 4 kilohertz and 8 kilohertz because I wanted to really sample at the same rate that my PID loop and gyro are running at. You can see I'm running 8K down here. After doing that, I started noticing these little D-term spikes here, and you can see that they're inverse to whatever direction the D-term is. They're always pointing back to 0. They do cause some motor spikes, so if you go down and look at your commands for the motors, you can see they cause spikes in your motor, what the PID controller is asking the motor to do, little blimps and spikes. They seem asymmetric. Long story short, an issue is submitted. This is in Betaflight 3.4 all the way up to at least build 160. It's in Betaflight 3.3.1 and it's in Betaflight 3.3. So let's just show that. So this is 3.30. I did not run 3.3.1, but speaking with a gentleman on Slack, he sees them there as well. This is Betaflight 3.2, or I'm sorry, 3.2.3. So you can see they are not there, and they are not in 3.2.5. So it's something at 3.30, and it's an issue out there. The reason I'm posting this is because I swore my motors started to feel like they were running warmer, and I'm wondering if this is why, because you have this jerky spikes. The spikes seem to increase in frequency with a faster logging rate. So is it just, you know, a logging rate thing, or are they real? And if it's logging rate thing, why isn't it in 3.2.5, so on and so forth. There's some other things I noticed through this little journey here, is when I went back to 3.30, I thought, man, you know, this PID error, which drives the D term, looks pretty smooth. You know, these are the same moves, you know, just punching out and doing a hard roll to the right and then catching it. And you can see the same pattern here. That PID error is looking pretty smooth there. And then I was looking at 3.2.5, and you can see these little steps in the PID area, and then you can see there's more, what do I want to say, D-term instability, maybe? I don't know what you'd call this, in the D-term. Again, you don't see that in, it's not so apparent though. It doesn't look like there's D-term instability, at least in 3.3.0. And I did then run a log in Butterflight, and my hunch is that Butterflight was forked from Betaflight around the 3.2.5 build, or in the 3.2s of the Betaflight releases. And you can see there's that D-term, again, instability there, or whatever you want to call that. And you can see the roughness of the PID error. Moving on down again to 3.4, you can see you kind of have both the D-term spikes and some of this instability here. Long story short with this, I don't know. I think right now, personally, if you're going to a race or you want your best flight performance and you're running 8K, you know, these new filters are really about 16K and 32K sampling rates. If you're down at the 4K, 8K, which from what I understand is most of us, maybe newer's not better right now until some of these little things, at least that D-term spike. Hey, and maybe the D-term spike thing is just a logging rate thing and it's nothing. Hey, you know, I offer that up. Maybe there's really, you know, maybe these are appearing in the Betaflight logs, you know, sampling logs, but it's not really commanding the motors to do that. However, I was just doing some testing there, and my motor seemed to come down nice and pretty cool with some pretty minimal logging at 3.2 releases. So I leave it with you guys. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. I'm open to it. test it yourself, and let me know what you get. I really appreciate the feedback. I really, if you can test it on 3.3 and with a filter setup that you've optimized by now, and then put that same exact setup, filters and everything, on one of the 3.2 releases. I would go to 3.2.3 personally, but 3.2.5 is fine as well. And see if you think your motors are cooler as a result of this. That feedback is imperative to get onto this issue request. It seems like this could possibly be a tricky one, so the more input is better. Get it resolved and we can all move on. Thanks guys, I hope this helps.